and just being good to one another.
People at the top collaborate, and the people that are at the bottom compete.
Find yourself, be happy, and good things will happen.
Justice for Taco Bell.
It was everywhere.
Which I've come close to freezing to death a couple times. That one's super pleasant.
What?
Are you serious?
It can't hurt walking around in life thinking that you're the man.
Yeah. You guys are doing a good thing here. This is very good.
I genuinely love this conversation.
I love the Motive Podcast.
Welcome back to the Motive Podcast. I'm your host, Leo Kosach. Alongside me is my co-host, Kyle Cohen. And joining us today, a singer, songwriter, creator. He doesn't care what he's defined by. He just told me. Mr. Luke O'Brien. Thank you for coming, Luke.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
100%. I know we got connected, so our guest last week was like, put in the word. He's like, yeah, you got to get Luke O'Brien on the pod. I feel like I've had you in my notes for a minute. I just
That's what
told
you
you.
said. You said.
So happy to have you here.
Been in the queue.
Been in the queue. Yep.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for doing this in the wee hours of the morning. At least it is for me.
On a Monday night.
Yeah. I needed to do this after my kids were all asleep. So thank you.
Appreciate you coming in the wee hours in the morning. We're past our bedtime, but hey, we love it.
Yeah.
We love it. Family man, we love that too.
Yeah, family man.
Yeah.
But how we doing? What have you been up to lately, creatively, and what have you been up to lately to start?
Yeah. I feel like my creativity has two outlets. It's like the photo and video world, and then the music world.
Okay.
The music was my first passion. I really fell in love with the whole process of writing and recording and performing music when I was in college. And I did just, to come back to present day, I just released a new song. Did you guys listen
saw
to
it, Elvis.
That one was just a couple months ago.
Okay.
And then I just put one out called Mourning in the Nighttime.
Okay.
Mourning, so like mourning a loss. It's a sadder song.
Okay. What inspired it?
My someone that I knew killed themselves. It
Really?
was my dad's friend. So like not my peer directly, but like 3 months before it happened, I went on a golf trip with my dad and his buddies, and he was in my foursome, and we were catching up. He was like, seemingly as happy as can be. And then 3 months later, my dad called me and was like, listen to this. And it just caught me super off guard and just made me think really hard about how like someone can be that deeply sad and like just hiding in plain sight,
Yeah.
And so it wasn't directly about him, but it just was like, I just started spiraling and thinking a lot about, like this idea of like life, death, unfairness, sadness. And I love sad songs. I just think that like, I also love happy songs. Like if you heard I Feel Like Elvis, like I can write the hell out of like a fun poppy song. You've seen Ha Ha Yo. Like
that's as feel good as it gets.
For sure. That was our brand at its core. But on the other side of like the human emotion spectrum is sadness. I think it's like really healthy to like just like live in that space sometimes, even though it kind of sucks at the moment, but it's like it's important,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about like off camera, like Coldplay, like Coldplay, their earlier albums, like no matter they just came out with a new album, and it's like for Coldplay, for whatever it was, forever, what season of my life I was going through, it's just like that's where I found Coldplay, and that's where it like stays. So it's like no matter like the Coldplay album that came out this past Friday, it's like no matter how bad it might be, which I don't think it's bad at all, I love it. It's like it just emotionally connects with me just from the start, listening through. There's like a story being told. Like I can listen to Chris Martin talk on an interview for an hour. Like he's just like, it just means something.
He just did a Zane Lowe.
That's what I listened to. That's
Yeah.
what I listened to.
I saw like a clip of that, but yeah, I have an emotional. I think that's their music just does that. Like,
and it's like those early albums when they were 25 and like just like stoners in a bedroom and they had nothing going.
Yeah,
and it's like like that Parachutes album is deep. Like that, like it's
so good.
Like that,
so
like,
good.
Parachutes.
You're a fan too, Kyle?
I do like Coldplay.
Yeah.
A lot,
Parachutes or Rush of Blood to the Head and X and Y are like that is a trifecta that it's just like it's so like powerful in my words.
Do you have a favorite of those three?
My favorite Coldplay album has to be Rush a Blood to the Head. I feel like there's no skips on it.
I agree with you.
There's some
So-
happy, there's some good, like, uplifting songs, but, like, I mean, you got, like, the heavy hitters. Like, I mean, you got your classic Scientist, like, God Put a Smile Upon Your Face, like, some Amsterdam, like, some really good songs on there. But, I mean, and yeah, but, like, I feel like people get mad at Coldplay, like, oh, they've evolved. They've become like this electronic, which
Yeah.
I feel like their one single they just put out on this new album. It's called We Pray. I hate it. I do not like that. I didn't add that song to my library. That's
Yeah.
one of the skips on the new album. But then that's just who they are. Like they've evolved. Like you go to their recent albums and it's like, yeah, they're more happy because it's like that's where they are. Like it. I don't hate them for it at all. That's just it's cool in my opinion to see where they've come, and their music is still it's unique in that way. I feel like I don't know.
Yeah, and you don't want them to not grow.
Yeah.
You know, or try to pretend like they're going through something they're not. you
Right.
know? Yeah.
Because I feel like there's like a meme, or it's like every band starts as like a sad indie band.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like they all become something else. But,
Yeah, because they get successful, they're not
yeah,
sad anymore.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like
Although, not always true.
yeah, I mean, I feel like people hate artists when it's like they're sad and then they get happy because they made sad music, and it's like, that's why they like. They're happy now. Great. Like, go find someone else. I don't know. But yeah, it's awesome. But I mean, so circling back before I want to dive super into the creative space and everything. But like, so you grew up in Phoenixville.
Yes,
Went to Phoenixville High School.
correct.
Where was your mind at in high school? What did you want to do with your life? Were you making music, content, anything in high school? Lacrosse, you said?
I was making little like home videos of my friends and I like snowboarding and skiing and stuff, and we would like edit on like the little handy cam. But I was like, I don't know, in high school I was and I wasn't confident. I wasn't really confident in myself, and I feel like I didn't really like hit a nice growth spurt until college. So I was like, I don't know, just kind of like a little more timid, and I didn't really have a sense of like what was gonna be my thing. I loved listening to hip hop music. Like I was like taking in so much Jay-Z, and Talib Kweli was probably my first favorite artist, and Common and Eminem, like at an abnormal rate. Like I was like just like so into these artists. Like my friends would be like, yeah, it's cool, like I like it, but I would be like, no, like listen, you know. So I was like, okay, I can tell I really love this stuff. Memorizing verses. And then I went to college and I was studying English literature, and I was writing poetry, and then I started setting that poetry to beats and like rapping over it, and I was like, ooh, I'm pretty good at this. And that's when I felt like I like gained my confidence, because then I started performing and I was like, people like this. And yeah, then I just kind of was like on a journey of like, I just love the process.
Yeah. And you said your wife is high school sweethearts.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm trying to think of the question, but it's like I don't like how. Like I don't want to ask how. Like that's not the question, but it's like yeah. Like how did you maintain that relationship like healthy through high school? Because it's like as someone in high school, seeing
Yeah.
all the drama behind relationships, it's like in my eyes, it's like. Dude, I don't like if there's
Seems like
one
it's
high school
impossible.
sweetheart from my school right now, I'd be shocked. And like in a bad like I think that's awesome. Like 100%.
Do you think that social media is like is it a
I think it has to be
it's sort of
because
ruining relationships?
I mean I think it's definitely I feel like it's temptation, right? Like in
Sure.
like just in general, like if you're on your social media and it's like you're with a girl and you see another girl, it's like it's so easy to be like, oh, she's better than
The
who I'm
grass is
with.
greener.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's that, but it's also like, I think it also paints a fake reality to like what like a relationship is. Like all you see on Instagram with people who are dating and stuff is like the highlights, the good pictures, and the good moments. When it's like, I guess a real relationship, has its low moments. I feel like, right?
Yeah,
So-
and I feel like that's where it's like there are high school relationships right now as a senior in high school where it's like, dude, I think you guys are great together. I'd love to see this work. My high school's listening to this right now, like, dude, what is this kid talking about? But
Are you guys in relationships?
We're not.
I'm not.
Nice.
I'm not. Like, I am or something.
No, it's great. No, and like yeah, we dated in high school. and it was
Pod
great.
DMs are open.
And then we both like went to college, and we were like, let's go be, live our own lives. And we stayed in touch, and she would come like visit me at school and vice versa. But and then we just kind of reconnected after college, so it wasn't like one long continuous.
Yeah.
I
I feel like, yeah, it's just.
But it is
social
cool.
media.
Yeah.
Like social media and just, I don't know. I feel like society's changed a little bit just for like.
Totally.
I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like loyalty. Like, and I don't want to get too negative or anything, but I feel like loyalty has lost its value. Like, and who am I to say this? Like, people are like, who's this grandpa talking right now? But it's like, I don't know. I want to have hope 100%, and I do believe in that. But it's like, yeah, I hope High School Sweethearts, I think, is awesome. That's what I'm trying to get at. And I don't know how often that is, like, or how probable that is.
Yeah. I feel like I come across couples who were high school sweethearts. I film weddings from time to time as part of a fraction of like my business and what I do. And I'll come across some couples that are high school sweethearts, and one was like, me too. But yeah, it is cool to like have known my wife since she was 15.
Right.
You know what I mean? And same for her. Like, we've known each other since we were children. And that's kind of neat, because I'm like, I know your whole
grow together.
like the majority of your story, and you've known my family. My family's known you since you were a kid, and so it's like we're very like well integrated and like into each other's families in that sense. And it's just like, yeah, it's cool. We have a lot of history. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that like the growing together like through being a teenager is like that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, so you went to apply. You were applying to colleges at the end of high school. You said you ended up at Loyola of Maryland. Were
Yes.
there any like why?
My older sister went there,
Okay.
and I had visited, and it was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
What do you study?
English literature.
Yeah.
So studying a lot of poetry, doing a lot of writing.
Do you have a favorite poet or
Creative
book,
writing.
novel?
I was always drawn to this guy, Allen Ginsberg.
Okay. I feel like the name sounds familiar.
His
but-
stuff was cool. He's definitely like an older poet. Wallace Stevens. Now I'm just kind of throwing out some names that I like kind of came across.
I don't know if you're exactly the type of poet and reader to know what you'd be throwing out.
Now musicians, we could talk about favorite musicians because they are poets.
Yeah.
And I feel like we were about to get into that, and you were like, hold on, let's turn the mics on. Like, let's talk about, I know you like Coldplay. I'm really inspired these days by this artist named Ryan Beatty. Do you know who Ryan Beatty is?
I do not off the top of my head.
Yeah, he's so good.
Like
I
a
found
singer-
out about him through Zane Lowe.
like a singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
Okay.
What kind of
Yeah.
music?
It's singer-songwriter. It's very like
Acoustic?
ethereal,
Okay.
and dreamy, and like the writing is very it's like vague enough where it's like a lot of my songs, like the lyrics are very like, you know exactly what the song's about. His are very like poetic and open to interpretation. Maybe that's why I made the jump from poets to Ryan Beatty, Beatty.
Okay.
Highly recommend his album Calico. Start to
Okay.
finish, no skips. Zero
Okay.
skips.
Because I agree with, if you're listening to an album, listen to, like, if an artist releases an album, listen through the album start to finish, because that's where it's like Coldplay. Like, I feel like it's one of the first artists I truly did that to, and it's like you really see. Like the thing I love when you do that is like when the previous song leads into another song and you don't even know, like it
Yeah.
skips on your phone. I think that I just love that touch. But it's like when it's telling a story, like you can totally see like when it's just telling a story from song 1 to 13, and it's like there's a story in every single song. Yeah, the songs individually are great, and there's stories in each song, but it's like really telling a journey through when you play through the album.
Where that artist is at that time
Yeah.
in their life. Yeah, I totally agree. If I like an artist, they put something out, I listen to the whole album. And I feel like that's, I mean, everyone's different, but I do think it's like kind of rare that people listen to entire albums.
100%. I think for our generation, it's like it's so like the social media age. It's like you're hearing like a 30-second clip, and then it's like that artist's career
That's
is
it.
made
Yeah.
out of a 30-second clip, and then it's like, all right, I'm gonna go listen to this song. It's like that's it. No one listens. Like if I'm a like teenager, I don't go listen to like their album. Then it's like because I don't have to. I
Right.
can just listen to the one. It's like you used to have to listen. You had to buy the album.
The CD.
Yeah.
I think people are so impatient that they just like that's why everyone like gets their favorite music off of TikTok and stuff like that. Where it's like they hear something they like, they add to the playlist off of TikTok that they're already like watching and brain rotting to.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah,
but
it's
like,
like
you don't have no one has the patience to like listen through a whole album and like have the chance of like, oh, maybe you like won't like the song, like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like realistically, you're not gonna like every single song you listen to.
Yeah, like so like since I became like a really big fan, so I'd say Coldplay I dove into like freshman year, and then I saw them 2 times within a week on their Music of the Spheres tour, which is still going. It's just it just blew up. Like it's the #1 highest selling tour of all time. I think I saw them in Philly, and then like 5 days later I saw them in Tampa, and I was just like, whoa, like what did I just see? And then that summer I was just in a low point, and then after I saw them is when I like, you know how it is, like when you see someone live, then it's like, oh, now I gotta go listen to all this. Like I really liked them live. So then once I saw Coldplay live, and I already knew a good amount of stuff, but then it was just like I'm listening to every single song. I dove through like all their EPs, like before Parachutes. I listened to like their 2 EPs before Parachutes. I was listening to like the Prospects March EP, which is in that Viva La Vida time. Like I listened to every single one of their songs, and I was like, whoa, like it was in a story, and now I'm like totally forgetting what I was gonna connect that back to. But yeah, where were we? I
don't
love Coldplay so much. I could talk about it all day long.
You do, and I love that about you.
Yeah, it's awesome. The storytelling, everything.
Yeah. I was patiently waiting for her to get to, or I honestly forgot where you were
Dude,
talking
I'm
about
trying to
too.
think of where we were. What were we talking
I was like
about?
listening. Like,
I
yeah,
know.
yeah,
I was gonna use that as a preface to where we were getting to.
Poetry. Then we went to Ryan Beatty. Then we talked about listening to entire albums.
Oh,
and then
I know where
Coldplay.
I was going through. So then it's like I finally, that was like freshman year, and then it's like it's never been the same since there. Now I'm a senior in high school, and it was our homecoming this past Friday, and they released it was like the first time since I really connected with Coldplay and was a mega fan that they released a new album. Like I was here as a fan to see them release a new album. And so here comes Moon Music, which came out Friday, and we had our senior sunrise, which is like all the seniors before homecoming. Like it's a tailgate in our parking lot. It's like it. I really felt like a sense of community. It's like, all right, it's our senior year. Like I've known the kids next to me for like 12, 13 years now. Like it was insane. And it's like here I am. It was early. It was an hour before school started. So I left my house at 6:10 in the morning. Sun's rising up, and I just start listening to this Coldplay album, and I was just having like
That's a
I was just
vibe
having
right
like
there.
a moment, like the first listen through of this Coldplay album on the way to like the senior, like start of the senior year. I
Sun
was
coming
like,
up. It's
it was
like a full
it's
circle
meant to
moment.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of wish I was in the car with you at that point.
Yeah, me too.
Jeez, dude.
Me too. Really painting a picture here.
But yeah, Kyle, is there anyone that you'd say does that for you? Like the favorite artist?
Ooh.
Like any artist for you? I know you have a couple. Like I know you dove into some Zach Bryan recently, which is
Sure,
blown
but I
up.
mean, not as much anymore. Actually, I
Yeah.
don't know. I am the most like, I feel like bipolar music listener, where it's like, it's a month of this genre, this type of music, and then it's a month, and then the next month it's so different. And I feel like I like everything, but it's like what I'm enjoying in the moment is so like wildly different a lot of the times.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like that. I'm all over the place when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
It's just like I feel like Coldplay, John Mayer. I've added in Dave Matthews because their musicianship. It's like John Mayer and Dave Matthews. Their musicianship is insane.
Insane.
Like Coldplay is not. Their musicianship is not insane. Like Chris Martin, like Will Champion on the drums for Coldplay is not like shredded anything. Like their songs are very straightforward, and that's why they get a lot of hate. Like my one neighbor, he has a full recording studio in his basement. I took him to see Coldplay. He's like, dude, this isn't it. He's like their songs are so, they all sound the same.
This
And I was
isn't
like,
it.
and it's like I can get where he's coming from. Yeah, a lot of them are 4-chord songs, but it's like I don't care.
Do you write your own music? Like I see you have the recording studio. I saw the piano, the guitar. Like, what do you?
I dabble for sure. I
Yeah.
definitely I'm not consistent, but I write a couple songs a month maybe, and it's like I'll have a guitar part, or I'll have I'll work something out on guitar, and then it's like, all right, I'll add piano and bass, and then it's like the lyrics struggle. Like it's like I'm a lyricist. I like writing, like poetry. I feel like I love, but I don't realize I love, because when I have something to write about, like a rap, it's like in school. If I had to make a history rap, bro, Kyle knows what's up. I could spit out like a 3-page rap with every stat. Like I would love it. But
You could write Hamilton.
but no, to get to your point, do I write my own music? Yeah, I dabble in it. I don't like, I'm not taking it seriously where it's like, all right, I want to like have like an 8 song EP. It's like but I thought about it. So, but yeah, I definitely dabble. I write, sit down at the guitar, sit down at the piano.
Yeah.
How did you find your love for writing music, and how did you start writing music?
We recorded this song. Like my friend that I met in college, he was from Brooklyn, New York. His name was John Fitch, and he made beats, and he was just this hilarious character.
This is how every good story starts. Brooklyn, New York. John makes good beats.
Bro, the way this kid talks, every girl on our campus, this is how he talks. He's always, and I tell you, I got these new beats, and let me tell you what, it's so engaging.
It's like a Ray Charles.
Like girls went crazy for John Fitch in college. Like he just like had it going on, just like a cool, interesting, artsy kind of guy, and he made these pretty dope beats. And we would just, when kids would go out to the bar, and don't get me wrong, we would go out to the bars too in college, but like once John and I linked, and like I listened to his beats, we would just roll something up, and we would drive around the neighborhoods and just blast his beats with notepad and paper.
That's
and we just
awesome.
started, and we would just write until like 3 a.m. Then we'd go home like and sit around and talk about, and that one song, and I like that line. Oh, that line is so good. And we would just craft songs.
Yeah.
And that's like, you know, when you're like fully immersed in your art to the point you're not even thinking about like, oh, let's get together and write a song. It's just like we're always doing it. Every time I see you, we're writing. Like that was the world we were in, and then he had access to a recording studio on campus, and we laid down the first song I ever recorded. It was called Hands Up. It was like the most basic, like throw your hands in the air type, you know, rap song, but it was such a good like stepping stone for me to record something. And he bounced it, and I put it onto my iPod, and I was walking across campus listening to myself on a beat, and I was like, oh my God. Like it was like a pivotal moment. I was on the bridge that goes over Charles Street in Baltimore, and I was like hearing myself on this beat, and I was like, I could do this. Like I can be just like Jay-Z and all these artists that I really, really look up to.
Yeah.
And so that was like, from then on, I was just like, let's write, and record. Yeah.
Yeah, that creative space when you don't know what's like I just mentioned, like my neighbor over here, he's really good at recording, and that I feel like that's like, he's a phenomenal musician, by ear, can play every instrument. He's great. It's like, and I feel like this ties into like the East Coast mindset. Like this is why I want to go move somewhere warm and just love it in the warm. But I was talking about this with Jason last week on the pod. Like even like last week when the hurricane rolled in, like we got the remnants of it, and it was like all rainy here. It was like, all right, like I had a very productive week because of how focused I was, and because it's like I can't do anything else outside that I'm like, I can't go enjoy the sun or anything. So it's like, all right, I'm inside, let's get to work. That's how I kind of feel throughout the winter, and I do like that more than I think I realized for the East Coast. So it's like I just have good memories, and like still do. Like in the past few years, it's like January, I'll go over to his place. It's like, dude, I can't tell you how many times this dude's been right up in this window or right at that back door with like a guitar case and like 2 feet of snow. And he's like knocking on my window, and I don't even see him here. But it's like just low light. It's like 10 a.m. Like he's throwing out a bass loop. He's sitting at the computer. I'm laying down a drum track. Got some incense burning. It's like you're in your element.
Working. Yeah, in that creative flow. Yeah, that's like I have to say, like, it's a much harder space for me to find these days because I'm a dad of 3, and I started my own business like 3 years ago. And so like I have this family to provide for, and I also have to generate new clients and more work. Like I eat what I kill, so I have to always be going, which is challenging, but it's also, you know, it comes with its own set of like freedoms as well, like working for myself. But for me to just take, you know, my Saturday mornings used to just be like, wake up, get my coffee, sit in front of Logic, and let's just create until, I don't know, whenever, lunchtime or whenever I feel like stopping. And now, like, having children, like those windows of opportunity to create things where I feel fully, you know, I feel like to really let myself go creatively, I have to remove all that noise.
Yeah.
So with these last two songs, like with the I Feel Like Elvis song and Morning in the Nighttime, I booked some studio time, and I was like, I'm going to go to a studio and be like very intentional about
awesome.
creating. And I brought in a bunch of my friends who are, you know, instrumentalists and did it that way, which is fun too. Like I, especially early on, it was like, let's just get on some beats. Let's get on beats. But there's something really fun about like collaborating with other musicians and writers and tracking live instruments, you know what I mean? As opposed to just playing on program stuff.
Yeah. Do you think you creatively like benefit off of your kids though? Because like do you gain ideas 100%?
Yeah.
Because I always think about like I 100% want kids. I think it's a beautiful thing. I want to have a wife and kids without a doubt. But it's just like I obviously there's going to come an age, and I'm a senior in high school with this ideology, so it's definitely going to change. But it's like I want to like get what I need to get done. Create like I want to have the biggest podcast in the world before I have kids, if time allows. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But like yeah. So getting back to my question, like, do you definitely creatively benefit off of having kids and like just being around them? Because speaking of Chris Martin, like I think he talked about that in the Zane Lowe interview, like his two kids, Apple and Moses. I don't know why his kid's name is first Apple. I will knock you on that, Chris Martin. Though.
Yeah.
Wait,
like I think
his kid's name.
Apple is Apple and Moses are his two kids' names.
Okay.
But I think they're co-writers on a couple of the songs on his new album. But
yeah, I mean, I have at least, I have a song, my daughter's name is Olive. I have a song called Olive, Olive, All of You. And I have another one called Sunshine Peachy Pie, which is her nickname. So there's 2 songs after her. And then I'm actually like, I need to make one for my son and my other daughter too. Cause I'm like, wait, when you all get older, you're going to be like, how come Ollie got a song? And like, where's mine? You know? So I'm working on one for Owen in June. But yeah, I think so. And it's also motivating because I heard a great quote one time, and I'll forget the woman's name who said it, but she said, your greatest thing you can do as a parent is to model joy, right? So like, you're not just some robot to your kids that just like, dinner's on the table, here's your lunch, like drop you off at school. Like, what do you do as a human, you know? Like, I know you're my dad, but like, there's a person beyond that, right? So like, I intentionally have played, you know, concerts that are earlier in the day so that Ollie can come. And she's watched me on stage, and like I did a really big show at the Colonial Theater in Phoenixville. It was awesome. I put so much time and effort into the show, and it was a huge hit. And like, she was in the audience, and I was performing Olive, Olive, All of You. And I like looked over and we made eye contact, and I was like, oh, I can't look at you right now, because I was going to start crying. Like my voice started trembling just because like, yeah, there's another layer of like meaningfulness when it's about your kids, you know?
Yeah.
And like for me too, like, yeah, it's, I don't know. It's like my self-perception, I guess, of like what I'm going to do with my music has changed so much. Like when I was in my early 20s, I was like, I'm going to be on the biggest stages. I'm going to be headlining festivals. Like that's what I wanted to do. And don't get me wrong, it would still be cool, but like, it's just, I don't think it's in the cards anymore for me. Like, you know, I'm just, you know, I'm 37. I have 3 kids. Like I said, for me to find time to write one song is really challenging. So it's more just about like, almost like passing on that to my kids. Like my daughter's starting to sing now, and I'm like, oh, she kind of has like pretty good pitch. Like we might be able to create some songs together one day. Like that's what I'm looking forward to now, you know, like creating with them, seeing them, the joy that I get from creating and performing. and
Yeah.
just like setting examples. Like it's not my turn anymore, you know? Like it's your guys' turn. Like you guys are in the prime of your lives. Like, you know, like I love that you're doing this podcast. I love that you like talk with like a lot of like excitement, and you talk with a smile on your face. Like I can already feel like you guys are gonna like do cool stuff. That's like exciting to me.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I think the music, it like, because I have firsthand experience. So like my grandmom who recently passed, she got my whole family in the music without a doubt. Like, so she has like a gift, like her ear. She can literally hear anything and sit down on the piano and play it. And it's like, to anyone, that's the cool, like for anyone musically or who doesn't know music, it's like if you can play someone and sit down and play it, it's the coolest thing.
I wish I could do that. Yeah.
So she was just self-taught, and she's just like the quintessential, just like your grandma. I can sit down and play anything on the piano, and just like the coolest woman ever.
Yeah, she sounds
And like the life of every, like from my understanding, like, you know, all through her prime, like she was the life of every party because she could sit down and play. And like obviously my pop just loved it, and like everything. So it's
Is
like
this your dad's mom or your mom's mom?
my mom's mom.
Okay.
So like I grew up just like literally, like there's videos of me when I'm 2 just like singing God Bless America next to her on the piano and like playing ukulele. So that's 100% how I started. Like she forced me. She's like, you're taking piano lessons when I'm 4, and I've been doing it ever since.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, like just playing, like, so then my uncles, they all sing. It's like nothing better than my uncle after a couple too many drinks singing Sweet Caroline a little too loud. Just like it's just awesome. And just around the holidays, it's just like there's something so meaningful there. And it's just like when she passed away in March, it's like when, like, I think the opening song for the funeral was Amazing Grace. And that's just like a song that like she would sing all the time. And it's like she didn't want the funeral to be like sad, because we would all gather around, and it was everyone's highlight. So it's like when Amazing Grace was playing, like it was like I definitely lost it.
Yeah.
'Cause it was just like
It's a beautiful song too.
yeah, it's wild. But yeah, I want to get into Haha Yo.
Yeah.
So, like we briefly mentioned earlier, like it's so, like uplifted and happy. It's like, so Haha Yo, like I feel like watching your videos gives me the vibe of like the prime, like 2012 to 2016, like like YouTuber. It's like bright, like dude, like even for me, it's like I can still kind of like I was in 3rd grade in 2016 and 2017, but it's like I vividly like that era still, like it's just like I don't know if that was just me being like, oh, 3rd grade, those were the days, but it's like the brightness and the color, and like, so you had like Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
Was that your biggest one?
We did so many cool things because it was that group, super group, boy band, was the brainchild of Tom Boyd, also known as Boyder. And I was saying in the driveway that I was just a fanboy of Boyders for the longest time. I was just kind of watching him and Asher Roth doing their thing from afar. And then I ran into him at one of my concerts in Westchester and told him I was a fan. He liked my set, and we exchanged information, and then he invited me to a writing session. And then in those sessions, it all kind of we were just like, let's just do this. Let's just put out music under our own names. But Tom is always thinking. He has like, you know, what I do now for a living is like marketing, like content creation and marketing. And Tom is like always thinking in a marketing way, but like not like through a marketing lens. Like his brain is just like so creative that he thinks of everything, how to like spin it or brand it or collaborate or do something cool, so that the end result isn't just like, here's a song. It's like, no, here's a song called Jimmy Buffett that we're going to send to Jimmy Buffett's team. They're going to hit us back. They're going to invite us to come to shows, give us backstage passes, and then ultimately fly us to Las Vegas for the last show of his tour at the MGM Grand, put us up in the hotel, and then show our music video on the projector screen at the end of the show. Like, like that's what it all leads to, just from like a stupid song we made in a closet. And that's because Boyder was like always had that foresight to be like, let's how can we take this from just a song to a campaign? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was so much fun to be a part of because you never knew like what concept he was going to come up with next. Like, and I always like to tell the story. We were in Las Vegas watching Jimmy Buffett perform, and he stops and he shouted us out, but he got us all wrong. He was like, he called us the Yo-Yo Ha Boys instead of the Ha Ha Yo Boys, and he said we were from Jersey. He was like, I want to give a shout out to the Yo-Yo Ha Boys. They're in town from New Jersey today. We're like, no, Ha Ha Yo from Pennsylvania. But like we went on his it's called the Bing and Bong Show, so like their pre-show podcast sort of, and like, you know, what an honor like to meet such a legend and like, you know, get called out on stage and have our video play in that theater. So we just like, yeah, there was so much like momentum around Ha Ha Yo, and like all our friends and family were like, holy shit, you guys are really like building something up here, and we could feel it. We made a ton of songs like that. We made one, this was obviously a long time ago, but we had a song called What Would Diddy Do?
I have a note on it because I was like, we have to mention that right now.
we
Good time.
What would Diddy do? Well, I guess we figured out what Diddy would do.
yeah, we now know, and we should probably scrub that off the internet. But we released it. It's actually not on our YouTube channel because we released it with All Def Digital. You know, Boyder has all these connections from the Asher Roth days to a lot of people. So we had this Def Jam connection, and we did that song and released it on their YouTube channel, and it got, you know, exponentially more views. And it was just a fun project. Because everything was just like girls and fun and parties and like, but also like super witty, you know, like it wasn't just like, they weren't like the hooks and the rap lyrics. I mean, they weren't deep, but they weren't like basic. Like they were always like witty and funny, you know, while also being catchy.
Yeah, because the Diddy video, like you guys were like dancing down the street in Westchester. So I listened to you on Boyd's pod like 8 years ago or something today.
I was on his podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even remember.
It's like
going
a
on
Boyder
that.
show or something.
Oh,
I found it on YouTube today. I was like, I gotta give it a listen. So you were talking about like dancing down the street, and like just going for it and just like making those impulsive decisions for that content.
I was having a great hair day that day. Like when he sent the footage back and he put that little thing in at the end, I was like, yo, I look really cool in this part of the video. We had I don't like that red sweatsuit like jumpsuit, and we had gold chains on. I was like, we look cool.
Yeah. Is there like a craziest video filming moment you could pull off or like anything?
I mean, like
Most outgoing.
Boyder always references the time when we filmed, and it's really not that crazy, but we were just both like on the side of the Ocean City boardwalk, just butt naked, changing wardrobe because we just were like so run and gun but when we did the Jimmy Buffett music video, we went from like wearing our white linens on the carousel at the Ocean City Wonderland Pier. Rest in peace. They're closing it down. R.I.P.
Brutal loss.
Who knows? It might stay. I feel like it might stay. It's just rumors.
I'd love to see it though.
Me too. Many people would. And then we like jumped down and just like strip naked, and he's like, bro, like he just always references that. It's not like super crazy. And then the other one is at the end of the What Would Diddy Do video. This is one of my favorite moments. Boyder was trying to say poppycock. We were doing this like fake, like we were motivational speakers, and we were speaking to a room of like girls. It's looking back on it, it was like,
I saw that.
It was kind of like chauvinistic and like gross, but it wasn't our intention, so I don't feel that bad. Like we were trying to be funny, but it was like we were just like freestyling. It was like kind of sketch comedy.
I found it entertaining.
It's funny. It is funny, but it was just like we were just improvising. And I was saying something, and Boyder was trying to say to the audience, poppycock. But instead he said, which like, I don't know if you know what that is, but it's pretty foul. You know what it is?
Are we gonna have to bleep this out of the pod?
Yeah, you should leave that word out. It's like, it's a pretty grotesque, like something you would see in
Okay.
And we just started losing it because I was like, why did you just say that? And then we put together. He was like, no, I was trying to say, I was like, oh, you were trying to say poppycock. It just made me laugh.
There's always this great like bloopers behind the
Yeah,
scenes.
yeah.
Like it's great. So we were filming like one for like school. Like we were doing this like all of our boys in the media studio. And like we were doing this like fantasy football like reality show. Like so it was like we were all acting like a we all had to play a character that was like just cared so much about our fantasy team and what we did this week.
Yeah.
So
And they were like ridiculous.
I love
characters.
that sketch. That sounds like fun.
So we did like we filmed like an intro. We did like a trailer for the series that we are gonna film. So like we did like like the Sunday Night Football like NFL intros where it's like Tom Brady, Michigan University. So it's like we were filming them. We were just having like an absolute ball. Like what were some like
Oh my
the one guy
Yours
the
is
one guy
the craziest.
the one guy
to be
works at like
honest.
the pizza shop and he's like John like what was
Timothy.
he's like
and then it's
Timothy
just-
Johnson, Sabatino's on East Boot Road, Westchester. Like and
and
like,
his
it's like
whole character is how he like is literally like dirt poor and needs money and it's like he's just like, trying to advertise his pizza shop on the reality TV show.
and mine's like
It's like
About fantasy football.
Yeah.
yeah, and then mine's like Jaquarius Jamarius Jr. I only care about this team. Like what? Like it's not that funny, but it's like in the moment. It's like when you're filming
You're just
it
having
in
so
the
much
camera.
fun with the people in the
Yeah.
room. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it's
It was
the,
just- it
it's
was
the
kinda-
people that make it.
it
It's
was
the people that make it.
yeah, and it was thrown together, but it was so much fun. So,
Yeah, because it's like I was thinking about that. Like when like I love Westchester. So like with this decision like going into college, it's like so I could go to Westchester University for free. So it's a big decision. Like and I could stay here and just do the pod and like continue to grow this like as I've been growing it, or I could go somewhere else and grow it too. But what I'm trying to say like is it the people that I love here because it's like I it's a very basic like comparison, but it's like I was over the summer I was like in East and I was like in our high school I was like this place doesn't feel like I love high school. I love like the people. It's just it's like just getting up early and doing something is what I need. Like I enjoy the structure. So
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't realize that till the last year or two where it's like I'm an upperclassman in high school. It's like this is great. I gotta be grateful for this. And like I was in East over the summer. I'm like this place I'm not connecting with it because there's no one in here during the summer. But then it's like it's the people that make the environment what it is.
Absolutely.
Like with anything.
I think you'd find that even if you went to Westchester, even though it is so close, you're still going to meet a whole new group of people.
Yeah.
Or if you go to, I see a lot of Penn State flags, and
Yep.
if you go to Penn State, you'll meet a whole group of people, and you'll build a community there. Especially with your energy, you're going to build a community like wherever you go. And like just because it's 20 minutes away doesn't mean it's going to be the same people. You
Yeah.
know, like. You might just have that much more in common with the people you come across. Like, oh, you know this person, and that person,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
which you just, we're saying that you love that aspect of the
Yeah.
podcast, which I also love. That's how I get like all my business. Like I do
Yeah.
something for one person. They're like, I need to connect you with my friend
Yeah.
over here. They run a breathwork studio. I'm like, cool, put me in touch. And then we're
Yeah.
creating with that person, you know?
That's like the beauty of like I want to say running your own business. It's like you're always looking for connections no matter what.
Yeah. That's like the network is everything. And like,
Yeah.
if you do one really cool gig, you really like the person behind the business, then like you're probably going to like their network, right? So like when they refer you, it's like the next person's really cool too. And you want to, I love creating and collaborating with people who are really cool and nice.
Yeah. So like to finish up the haha yo. So where did that fall apart? You were telling me that in the drive. I mean, not fall apart, but like where did that go its separate ways, and why wasn't haha yo it?
Yeah.
Why didn't
know.
haha yo get you to tour the world?
Because we didn't evolve in the way that Coldplay has, you know. We said, hey, this is Haha Yo, the brand, like I said, at its core is kind of this immature thing. It's very college-y. Yeah, it's just trends younger when it comes to what we're rapping about. And Tom was getting older. We were both getting older, but he's a few years older than me. And he just called me one night and was like, dog, like, I think it's a rap. Like, I feel uncomfortable like singing about this stuff anymore. And I just kind of want to like put it aside for a little and see what else I find. And I was like, "Are you sure?" I was like kind of sad. I was real sad because we were having a lot of fun with it, but I also kind of understood what he was saying too, and now I really get it. Like if I was still making that music now, I would be like
yeah, right. Yeah.
you know, not just
Yeah,
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, especially the family. Like,
Yeah, so like we evolved, you know, as humans, and didn't really bring that like Haha Yo is sort of like a character in itself. We didn't bring that character with us. It kind of stayed immature.
Were there any other like influences within music or poetry and like the whole creative like mindset? Was there one place that you found yourself most creative, a time of the day? I just asked like 4 questions there, but give it the whole spiel works.
Well, back to like focused creativity and like intentional creativity. I mean, there's certainly when I was first discovering music, I would sort of like waves of creativity would just come at me, and then I would just be like, oh, I gotta get to the basement, and I would just like get lost, right?
Yeah.
But like,
It's like you gotta write it down. Like, do you journal, or have you?
I use like voice memos for creating like hooks for
Okay.
songs and concepts for songs. I don't really journal. I don't journal nowadays.
Okay.
I used to keep just like I used to write all my bars like in a notebook.
Like I journal every day just to like I've talked about this on other pods, but it's just like there's so much that happened, and it's just like it's so much excitement or not excitement, or I'm in my room locked in the parachutes and I'm not having a good day. It's like there's so much where it's just like, oh, someone said this to me, someone said they love the pod, someone said it's like, and I like, so I journal like it's like someone like this person said this, and I'll like put like quotation what they said, and it's just like it's there. So it's like,
Do you journal at the same time of day every day
no, it's just before, whenever I go to bed, it's before I go to bed.
before bed?
So like, is my bedtime consistent? Not always, but I'm consistent. It's every day before bed.
I think there's something to be said about like recapping your day. That's probably like a really healthy exercise. I do it with my kids. Like when we're laying in bed, we'll like read a book.
Yeah.
I'll sing a song and then like scratch their back, and then I'll like recap their day. And my son, who isn't like, he has like a couple words, but when you're recapping his day, like you'll say like, and then did you see Miss Ramya today? And he'll, after everything you ask him, he'll just give it this little chuckle. Yeah. And then did you guys go outside? Did you play outside? And it's like triggering something in his brain where he's like, that fond memory, that thing that happened today. Yeah. I might have forgotten about it if you didn't just bring that up, but today was a good day. Like journaling is kind of the same thing, right? It's like jogging these, like the highlights of your day, which is like holding the mirror up, being like, you had a great day, you know? Or maybe you didn't.
Yeah.
But like reflection, I think, is important. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
My life moves so fast that I don't have time to reflect until I get invited onto a podcast. And then I'm like, I'm going to get to like sit and talk to someone.
What is your like now, like in your present day, what is your time frame look like? What do you enjoy creating?
My days start at like 5:30 or 5:45 when my son wakes up. and I'm usually right in bed next to him because he was crying in the middle of the night. So I just go in and lay next to him. We have a 2-bedroom house and 3 kids. So we're pretty tight, but I love it. And so like, you know, it's just a little hectic and like, but we get up and this morning we went in the basement and he just kind of played on these rings. I rode the Peloton this morning, which was big for me. I love exercising. Like like a day that I work out is always a better day. Like if I go I really love running. I ran that marathon with Jay Brown.
Yeah.
You're a runner?
I am. I'm doing the Philly Half Marathon.
Yes.
In November. So
Awesome.
6 weeks.
Awesome.
It's my first long distance race. I'm mentally struggling with the aspect that it has to have half in front of it. So I really want to do a full marathon.
You will.
I will.
Yeah.
I got to start with the half though. But so last year I started running every day.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you said, it's like if journaling's recapping your day, it's the same exact thing with running. It's like I could be in a horrible mood, like a really bad mood, and it's like I can run a mile. Like, all right, I run a 6-minute mile or something, like whatever. I run a mile, 1 mile.
You instantly feel better.
And I do it outside. It's like I do it when the sun's setting a lot of times, or when the sun's rising, and it's just like instantly. It's like my entire day is shifted. But the long runs, like I did 10 yesterday, like just all around Westchester, all through the roads, just exploring, and it's just like you're
So
just like
fun.
you're just so like out of anything else. It's like I can't think about, like I physically can't think about anything that's like stressing me out when I'm running. That's why I love it.
Do you listen to music while you run?
I do.
Yeah.
Like blasting.
Yeah.
It's bad. Like I feel like I'm losing so much hearing because it's like I'm running, so it's like my volume's
What
all
kind
the
of
way up.
headphones?
Beat
Like some nice
Beat
ones. with,
Studio 3s.
Yeah,
Like,
so you're like crushing your
really
ears.
good
Yeah.
like really good high quality noise canceling beats.
Yeah.
But like the earphones, they're nasty because like all the sweat is
Yeah.
it like
Dude, does it like corrode it? Like,
it's like dissolving. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like honestly, I'm gonna have to get new ones. Like they're cooked.
Every 3 months.
Like I'm gonna wait these out till the marathon, and then like I'm gonna have to replace them because
That'll be your like gift to yourself for running a half.
I'll like hang them up on the wall. They'll be like
Yeah.
all nasty
Yeah.
and like, sweaty.
yeah.
But yeah, the running.
I run without music because I live in where I live is very rural and the roads are curvy and people treat 35 like 50 sometimes.
That's what I have been cautious about, like starting to run on the road because
Yeah.
I don't like to when I've been doing this long distance stuff. It's like I don't like I can never say never. I'd do it if I wanted to do it, but it's like running on a track for 10 miles. I don't think I like that. Running even on the trail where I run like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 miles. I don't love running 10 miles on. I've only done it once or twice because it's just like it's straight out, straight back. But it's like the past 2-3 weeks, it's like when you're just running, or when I started doing this down at the Jersey Shore because it's just easy. But it's like you're just running out, and yeah, you got to be.
It's my favorite place to run at the shore.
Yeah.
It's flat. It's safe.
Yeah.
Cars go slow.
Yeah.
There's a boardwalk. Do you go to Ocean City?
Yeah, that's where I was. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where my family's been going
Yep.
since I can remember. Yeah.
I think that was like the start of like my longer runs. Like I did I was just because it's just straight and it's just like there's so much to explore.
Yeah.
As opposed to like just the trail down here that I'm used to. So it's like I just wanted to, and I just did like 6 one day, and I was like, oh, I can do 6. So
Yeah.
it's just like so then that's honestly been like a catalyst to like, all right, now I got to do this, and now it's like now when I'm at 10, it's like the half is only 3 more. It's like I'm feeling great.
Your body's definitely capable of running a half. You could probably run a marathon tomorrow. Like you would do it.
Yeah.
It would be tough.
Yeah.
But your body can run 26.2 miles for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think Kyle's could, at least not right now, just because the football injury.
Even if it wasn't, probably couldn't.
When was that injury? Friday night?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you
so
need some rest.
A little bit.
We've talked about it on the pod, Kyle. I feel bad for you. The MCL
Yeah.
happened again.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as last time.
Okay, I really don't know. It could be as bad.
Is the second knee
could be.
injury?
So yeah, as you can see, my scar here. I had.
We'll tell him what happened freshman year, and this is his first year back in football.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah, freshman year, I blew out my knee completely. 4 ligaments, 4 surgical repairs
In football?
in football.
4 surgeries?
4
repairs and one surgery.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I missed football. I didn't play. I wasn't healthy sophomore year. I played lacrosse sophomore year. Lacrosse is my main sport. And I decided not to play junior year. That was a podcast thing and just a other personal thing. But I decided to come back senior year football, have fun, and then do my thing. And then I just got hurt last week. It was homecoming.
Do you think that this most recent injury is because
the original one?
Yeah.
No, actually, I don't.
Good.
Because, well, they're both contact injuries, both of my knee injuries. And I think, well, I wouldn't say like the first one was really unlucky. This one wasn't less unlucky, more just unfortunate. And I feel like I'm healthy and strong right now. I don't think I have any imbalances or anything like that.
I feel like you're in a better you know how to deal with it. Like you're in a better state of mind.
100%. I think. Yeah, when I went through it, when I went through it the first time, it was bad. I went through it.
And you're like kind of like right now you're like whatever happens happens.
Yeah, I mean I'm not gonna lie. If it is worse than I think it's just MCL. If it's just MCL, it's 6 to 8 weeks. It's not that bad. Probably some PT after that, but I'll be back for lacrosse and whatever. But if it's worse, if they're wrong, if my ACL is not fine, even though they think it's fine, and that happens, and I miss lacrosse, yeah, I'm gonna be really disappointed. It's my senior year, and I already missed my freshman year. My sophomore year I didn't go great because I was healthy enough to play, but I wasn't really athletic like I used to feel. And then junior year was good last year, but I want my senior season.
Yeah,
and
hell yeah.
it would really suck, and it would also suck because I can't even imagine if like it's worse than I think, and I had to tell my coach that after I told him, because he didn't know I was playing football, and I told him, he was like, please don't get hurt, and it's like, I'm out for
Remember how I
season,
told you
can't
I
do
wasn't
it.
gonna get hurt?
Yeah, I did.
Well, I hope you have a swift recovery.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I know I'm definitely gonna handle it better than I did the first time. Well, I think
The first one sounds scarier.
it
Like,
was.
like a surgery with 4. Yeah, that sounds intense.
It definitely was. It was a full year of physical therapy after that too.
Yeah.
And it was pretty brutal, but I got through it, and it taught me a lot about everything, about my purpose in life, about who I am, and yeah, it definitely shaped who I am today. So
Yeah.
like, I'm thankful for it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I didn't mean to diverge from the whole topic, but
It's all right.
No, it's-
jumped in.
We
so,
want you to
what
be
a
healthy,
podcast is
man.
about.
Yeah.
yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you run any races soon? Anything?
No, I run here and there whenever I can fit it in, but it's always just for like that that sort of mental clarity,
Yeah.
know, which I definitely need these days. But yeah, I'm like at a interesting place with like my like I've always been athletic, I've always been moving, but I now with the third kid here and I just get so busy, and I have such a hard time just like stepping away from my desk and going for a run, because I'm like, you could be getting something done, And
Yeah,
I
I
don't
feel
think it's
like-
healthy.
Yeah. and I feel like it's how I can be it sometimes. And I don't even want to try to compare myself to a dad of 3 kids. I don't want to offend you.
None taken. No, I'm curious to hear how.
But like I feel like I'm busy, like super busy at sometimes, and then it's like yeah, I'm like it's like I have to get this pod clip done. I have to like write the script for our game day show, whatever. And it's just like, all right, just do 1 mile, and it's like after that mile done, it's like, all right, I'm gonna get it done.
And you're probably and as we just said, you're gonna be in a better mindset doing the
Yeah.
thing, because you've already moved
Right.
your body. And like
Yeah.
like today, I had a great day because I got my Peloton ride in the morning, did a couple push-ups, and I was like, all right, now it's not in the back of my head
Yeah.
like, should I go out
Right.
for a run?
Yeah.
No, you got to get this. Like, it's a battle.
100%.
Yeah.
So getting back into like the music a little bit. So I saw like on your LinkedIn bio,
I have a LinkedIn.
I think like you said that
I think I do. I
like,
do have a LinkedIn. I just what did it say?
your music was on like Good Morning America.
Yeah.
You had like a set at Firefly. Is this true?
Damn, I'm really boasting on LinkedIn.
Is this true?
These are true. These are facts.
I mean, those are big stats. Where, how, when,
stats.
when did those
Yeah.
how did those opportunities arise, and where did you find yourself?
Kathleen and I, my wife, my high school sweetheart, as we established earlier in the pod. I like pod too. I usually say the full podcast, but
We're pods.
pod is cooler, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Sure.
Like in our high school, we just like we go by Motive. People are just like Yo Motive, like because it's a
Really?
podcast name.
That's
So it's
great.
like-
Well, I know it's the name, but that's
Yeah.
cool that you're like
Yeah.
people know you for your brand.
Yeah, that's why it's like I can't hate it. It's promotion, free promotion.
It's like,
keep
please,
saying our name.
Say
Yeah.
Motive,
Yeah.
call me that all the time. We when I did this really fun stint in Denver, Colorado. The guy who produced all of the Ha Ha Yo songs, his name's John Bonus. He just has another level of quality to what he does. That's like, this guy really, really knows his stuff. And Boyder met him in the Asher Roth days, and then kept in touch with him. So I actually hit up Boyder like right after he broke up with the Ha Ha Yo chapter, and I was like, "Yo, are you okay if I work with John Bonus again, because he's brilliant?" And he was like, "Yeah, like go get it." And so I lived in Denver, Colorado for a month, and it was like songwriting boot camp. Like I slept on my friend's couch. apartment out there. I brought my skateboard, and I would just skate to the studio every day. And John and I would work on something. What do you want to work on? Give me a concept. Give me like a beat. So, we made 5 songs. I only released 4, and the last song I made when I was out there was it was called Old Love, and I was gonna use it to propose to my then girlfriend. So we wrote it, and it turned out great. It's an awesome song. I think it's my #1 song on Spotify. It has like almost 800,000 streams.
Okay. Wow.
And I flew home and picked her up from a bachelorette party, and I was dying because we got stuck in traffic. And her friend, I picked them up, and her friend was like, "Hey, could you?" We were in Ocean City. She was like, "Could you drop me off at the Atlantic City airport?" And I was like, or bus station. She had to get back to New York, and I was like, "Sure," but like, I really want to like.
It's a bit of a drive.
Do this proposal,
Yeah.
and I didn't know so I drove her there, and then we were in traffic. But anyways, played her the song. I proposed to her during the bridge where it says, "Can you circle a piece of paper, yes or no?" And then so then we're planning our wedding. And I was like, yo, I just have this idea, like, hear me out. What if we took the song and we turned the end of the wedding ceremony into the beginning of the music video, and we'll have like a big speaker on a dolly, and we'll have a cameraman, and we'll just walk through the field like after we get married, and our friends and family will just like dance behind us and frolic. And she was like, kind of thought about it. I was like, don't give me an answer now, but she did come around. She was like, let's do it. It'll be really fun. And so that was the plan. And the ceremony ended. And I said to the whole crowd, I was like, all right, guys, have you seen the music video for Old Love?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, this is
I'll overlay it.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
And I said to the crowd, here's what's gonna happen. Brett's gonna pronounce his husband and wife. We're gonna kiss, and then we're just gonna head through the field. You guys just walk behind us and dance with joy or something. So then we do, but the moment we kiss, it starts raining, and the rain like rapidly turns into like a storm that has like tree branches falling off of trees. The rain is coming in sideways. Like you can see in the video, my shirt like goes from like just like a white shirt to completely soaked in like 20 seconds. Like it was a rainstorm. So the camera guys, like, we have to go. Like, my camera's about to get destroyed. The speaker on the dolly got completely destroyed. Like, and everybody just ran back to the barn. And it ended up being, I think that element is what made it go kind of viral, because it's just more of a story to tell, right? And so Danny Gevirtz, who I was talking to about earlier, the YouTube filmmaker, he's brilliant, and he's one of my best friends. He flipped the video so that it like opened with that, and then it kind of like, he runs it back to like the beginning of the day. But Good Morning America picked it up. There was someone on their like sort of like writing team who sort of like went out looking for stories, who knew someone in my network, and they called me and asked me a bunch of questions about it. They're like, cool, we're going to run this piece like tomorrow. And I was like, this is so sick. And their post on Facebook got like over 1 million views. And we were like, this is going to be pretty cool. Like, we were really excited. We got interviewed on an Australian like Good Morning show called Sunrise TV, which was awesome. And it was fun. Like, Danny sent us that video when we were on our honeymoon. And like, we watched it and we were like, this is really good. Like, people are going to love this. So it was fun to go like semi-viral there for a minute, Yeah. It was fun.
It's awesome. And then this might be another season of your life. I saw on your Instagram, van life. Were you thinking about it?
Yes.
That was a major consideration.
Yeah, it was. We sold our house in Philadelphia, which was another really tiny little house, but we bought it. I used to work in Philly at a school, behavioral and emotional support school, with kids who were, a lot of anger, justified anger. And I had a great role there because I started out as just like a general counselor. And that's kind of how the school was set up, because it required a lot of support. Like, the classrooms were 12 kids max, and there was a teacher and a counselor. And, it it was a salary job. It wasn't much at all, but I would like just wanted something steady that would leave my nights and weekends. And so I started working with these kids, and I just like fell in love. Like, and the kids fell in love with me. Like, I was like, this is definitely part of my calling in life. Like, and I did like a couple years of just being a counselor, and my supervisor was like, we want to give you your own classroom. We want you to be like the music/art guy, just like kind of make up the curriculum. I was like, this is awesome. So I built a recording studio in my room, very similar to what's right there.
Yeah.
And they bought me a camera, and we started, we would take the latest Cardi B song and we would remix it to be about safety and respect and accountability. And then we'd shoot a music video for it. And then when the kids are walking down the hall or at our school parties, we would play that version instead of, every other word missing because it's so explicit. And it was a huge motivator for the students. Like, it was a big, highlight when we would have people come through for tours. And I was like really proud of the work that I did there. My wife and I ended up fostering one of our students for like a year. We had a kid live with us. Like, I was like really, really in love with these kids, like just like really wanted to do everything I could to help them. And I did a lot. But in 2020, is when we had my daughter Olive, and I had the camera. I had been shooting some weddings like on weekends, or I'd done a couple family sessions, and I was like, I know I can make money with my camera, and like there's such a ceiling. It's such a shame how much teachers get paid, and what the ceiling is on salary for teachers, and like there was just no more money. I was like, Can you guys pay me more? I'd love to stay here. I'd love to make a career out of this. But like, I also want to like start building a family, and like, I need to make more money. And they're like, we can't, we don't have any. It's such a shame. These people work so hard, and these kids need like, people who are taking care of themselves, and on $40,000 a year, that's really hard to do,
Yeah. I think teachers and I'm no expert on anything, but I think teachers getting paid is one of the most important things that can happen.
Totally, man. Like, something has to change, especially in like these inner city schools where like conditions are really rough. Like the schools themselves are beat up. Like there's a lot of like systemic things that just like, it's a really wild environment. But yeah, so I was like, I was pretty worn down after like 7 years of doing that, and I had my daughter, and the pandemic happened, and we were like, what about van life? Like, do you want to do it? Like, we could sell our house and buy a van. Yeah.
Everyone was doing that.
Yeah, I know. I'm so trendy. It's like kind of cringy to myself now. But yeah, we sold our house, and I traded in my car for a van, and I started building it, and like got pretty far. I had like a sawzall to the side of this van that I just bought. I was like so nervous to cut into that thing, but I like installed windows and installed like fans in the ceiling, and I had it all like studded out, and I had the floor, like I had a subfloor down. It was pretty wild. And I had like composting toilet purchased. Like, I pretty much had like a van life starter kit, and we were like, let's not do this. It's gonna suck.
Really?
Like, with the kid. It's just gonna be really hard.
Yeah, I can see that. But the idea was there.
The idea was there. And we also at the same time came across this, like the home that we live in now, that was for sale at a good price. And we were kind of like, we could sell the van and just like settle down. Like, we want to have more kids. Like, what are we actually doing here? You know what I mean? And so we did, and we sold the van for like, I ended up making money off of the van, and the people who bought it took it and ultimately lived the van life. So,
van life.
Yeah, we kind of alley-ooped it.
Yeah, it's the van life is I see like all the climbers and all that stuff.
Which we are kind of like, we live in like I said, a pretty rural area. Like, one of my favorite things to do with my kids is like hike. Like, I have this like backpack. I throw my son in there, and we'll go out. Like, my daughter's like, we go swim in the creek. Like, I try to get my kids out in nature as much as we can. Like, I think that's like really important, especially in today, and it's good for me too. So like, we kind of fit the mold, the stereotype of the van lifer. But
I don't think I realized like being a kid, like the summer camp mornings, like just like when it's like a crisp and it's like 70 degrees and it's like Pennsylvania, just like the trees and the crickets. It's like I don't think I realized how, like really like everything. I didn't realize how good we have it here until the past few years.
I think we live in one of the most beautiful parts of the country, if not the. I mean, there's so many beautiful places.
Yeah.
I think that Pennsylvania is one of the most beautiful parts of the country. Chester County, you get to see all 4 seasons. These things that you're describing, like this time of year right now, like when the sun is rising and it's the sky is pink and it's a little chill in the air and it's crisp and it's man, and then the season changes and it gets a little colder and harsh and brown out, and it's like kind of like weather that like.
And it's like you and like I was talking about earlier, like it's like all right, you're inside, you get some work done, like it's everything.
Yeah, everybody kind of goes inward and gets insular for the winter, and I have a fire. We have like a wood burning stove in my house, so I love the winter time. We get so cozy and have little movie nights, like, and then and spring and summer, like it's just so pretty around here, and like. It does, like you were saying, like growing up, like those camp mornings. It was funny, like a funny reference. Like there's so much nostalgia, like tied to the area that you live in and the weather that,
Like just earlier today, like today was beautiful. Like
Beautiful day.
My friend Gabe, he was on the podcast. So he has this car, like this convertible manual sports car, little Porsche, like an older Porsche, and he comes and picks me up in it, and I'm just like. In the little cover up, the little vest, and this little top down in the convertible sports car, going through the Chester County back roads. The leaves are falling. It was just like, bro, this is perfect.
It's a vibe. That's you have some really great moments in cars, like
I do.
driving into the homecoming tailgate with the moon. What's the name of the album? The Coldplay album? Moon music on.
That's
convertible
for
Porsche.
me. That's what's really. This is really random, but I feel like I need to reminisce this with Leo real quick. Remember after? So do you know? Are you familiar with the game day show we do for our high school?
No.
Okay, so we run a game day show for our high school, just like previews, like
it's like so ESPN College Game Day. You know ESPN College Game Day.
Yeah,
it's that. We have a replica. I'll show it to you back there. We have a replica that says ESPN. We've been waiting to get a cease and desist. It says ESPN High School Game Day. Same font. We have the tablecloths. We were in suits. Continue.
Yeah. So we do the show for the Friday night like home games before, but remember it was pouring. I forget which game this was. It was pouring.
It was our homecoming game last year.
Oh,
there
it was. You're right.
There was a million people there. It was hyped up.
So there's a million people there. This is homecoming, and it is pouring. The game got postponed, didn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It got postponed.
So picture I have a huge PA speaker. It can't get wet. We have like literally thousands of dollars and like Shure microphones, laptops. It's like everything's out here in the rain. It's like, bro, I gotta get this in.
Yeah. And then I just remember us putting the speaker in the back of the car, in the trunk, with the trunk open.
We put the huge PA speaker in the back of my trunk and just opened the trunk.
Blasting music and driving around the parking lot.
And like we just for the game. I think we just turned on some like AC/DC, like
just like bumping some like rock. I think
I turned on some like AC/DC, like Shoot to Thrill, and we have like our Bluetooth Shure microphones like connected to the PA speaker.
Oh, that's sick.
So like I'm in the front seat and the speaker's in the back, and like I drive someone, I'm like, "How's it going, Charles?" into the microphone. I just like keep driving.
Yeah,
that's great.
It's blasting music. But anyway, that just memory came up for me.
It's a lot of good moments in cars.
Yeah. That's
I'm a car guy in general, but there's something to it. Again, it's another like
driving.
Yeah, it's another that's one of the things that it's like an escape, and especially when you add in some music, it's like driving. All right, you're focused, like you don't realize it, but it's like, all right, your life is on the line here, so you have to have some sort of focus.
Maybe the way you drive, yeah.
All right, no, but it's like you're making decisions. Your feet, like so, and then the Porsche I drove today was manual, so it's like.
Did you learn?
Yeah, I have. You know, I'm the manual for
my bad.
The Porsche was a little harder to learn on.
Don't insult him.
My bad.
No, but
it's one I learned before you anyway.
But I did stall it like twice. I'm not gonna lie. No, it's just like you're engaged, your feet, your hands. When you have the convertible, you get the wind. It's just like the driving is another experience.
To get thinking done, and
like you were saying, driving around with John.
Yeah, John Fitch.
Yeah.
And now, like with my kids, like I have a Jeep, Wrangler, and I have the soft top on. So like this time of year, we put it down, and the kids are like, "Put the top down," you know. Like those are core memories that are building for those kids. Like when, you know, if I were to leave tomorrow, you know, if something happened to me, my kids would be like, yeah, I kind of remember my dad. I do remember riding around in his Jeep, man. That thing was so sweet. You know what I mean?
I don't want to upload another Motive episode for the rest of fall. Everyone just needs to listen to this. Just settle it, hibernate for the winter.
Can you bring in some light music right now?
I'll color grade it to make it like orange.
Some incense right now.
Get some incense going over there.
Yeah,
oh my gosh. Yeah, the fall.
Champa.
Well, I think in a week or two we got to do a Striking Luck episode around the fire. So like we do these episodes called Striking Luck, and it's like us and our two boys, and it's just like a chill episode where it's like we can just talk about whatever, and we do them around the fire outside.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah,
we did the first one around Halloween last year.
Striking Luck.
Yeah.
What do you like? Strike a match in the beginning and light the fire.
So we're
this is a funny story how we got killed.
We had to do like for these like episodes where it's like we're gonna have like they're repetitive, like we'll do it once every 10 episodes or whatever.
It's like the same two guys.
One will have the same two guys on, so it's like we can't just name it Anthony and Jake as the guests every time. We gotta name it like this has got to be like a subcategory.
It's a recurring theme.
So it's like we need a name, and then in the first episode we were watching the Phillies game while doing it around the fire, so we were just like commentating, we were just making jokes around the fire. Microphones in hands.
Talking about Ram stuff.
Can be a little risky when you're just get a little too involved and you're saying some stuff around the
too
fire.
Comfortable.
No, but so I think we put up like a YouTube
edit.
Yeah, we put up like a YouTube video of the kid, me and this kid. It's like another core memory. It's like in 7th grade, we're in homeroom dying at this video for like half an hour. It was this guy who got like in like China. It was on some like CCTV like security camera. This guy got struck by lightning like 4 times. Like he got struck by lightning, down, gets back up, gets struck within like 2 seconds of getting back up. He's down, gets back up, gets struck a 3rd time. Like this guy like had the unluckiest day. Gets struck a 3rd time. And then he's like down for like 30 seconds, and then the video ends. He like gets up and he's in the distance, and you just see a lightning bolt and him like go down.
Oh my
God! We in 7th grade were
it's like a metal plate in his head or something.
Yeah.
Like, dude.
Well, I think he had like an umbrella, but after the first strike, he lost that umbrella.
It looked real too. Like it wasn't like
that was gonna be my other question.
It doesn't look like it looks like raw. Like
so that's the lucky
footage.
strike.
So like we were. So then here comes this episode like 7 years after we were dying this in homeroom, and like we were watching it on this podcast episode. We're just like, Striking Luck it is, whatever.
Striking Luck. Oh, Striking Luck. Yeah, Striking Luck.
It doesn't make that much sense, but
yeah, but
we needed a name.
I like it.
Yep. And did I see you have you're a partner or something in a drink, not pizza?
Yeah. Yeah.
Founder. What is your role?
I'm an owner.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I left my job at the school, I started just pretty much putting out to on social media, just advertising like, hey, I'm a freelance photographer and videographer. Like, if anybody needs some work, And that led to shoot over here, shoot over there. I shot something for this girl whose father owns a brewing company in Pottstown called Sly Fox Brewing Company. You know Sly Fox?
I feel like I've heard of it. Yeah.
And so he saw like what I shot for her, and asked me to come in and just kind of chat. He's like, "Hey, we really like what you did. Like, let's what could you do from a marketing perspective?" I'm like, I never really thought of myself as a marketer, but I guess like I always have been marketing my music. And so I kind of pitched, and I had learned like what that was when I got introduced to like a retainer contract, and like instead of just freelancing and like hoping people book me, like I could have retainers with people and do things on a consistent basis. I still work for myself, but I have a consistent pay and consistent work with a few companies. So that kind of changed my business model. That was huge for me. And Sly Fox took a chance on me, and their previous creative agency left, and I came in, and I was like, whoa, this is a lot of work. But over the course of like 3 years, I proved myself and did a great job. And one of the owners came to me and was like, hey, like I love your marketing brain. Craft beer is I think always going to be around, but it's not as popular as it once was, maybe like 5-10 years ago, when it like exploded. And he's like, these RTD like drinks are really popular. I have this huge canning facility. Like I want to start a canned cocktail brand. He's like, pitch me some names. And so, and like a brand, develop the brand and come to me with like an idea. Careful.
This is a normal funny break in the episode when this thing decides to fall. It's all right.
And so I hit up my friend Chris, who I only met a year ago, and I feel like we're virtually best friends. Like we're right in sync with each other. We're the same age. He went to O&J. We graduated the same year. And we just have very similar senses of humor, similar senses of marketing and branding, and we just really align on so many things. So I hit him up. I was like, yo, like I have this opportunity to create this thing. And, John, the guy who started it, was like, I could pay you just to, market it. We could do a retainer, or if you want to put up some money to help get this off the ground, you could be an owner. I was like, ooh, that's kind of cool. Cause like if I'm an owner and it takes off, then like I get like more money and I could use that. So yeah, I'll try my hand at it. And like, we just, we started at, a note on our phones, like a collaborative note.
Yeah.
We started just throwing names at the wall, and we had a couple that we liked, but everything was just, it felt like we were trying to imitate what was already there. Like you're familiar with High Noons, or like Surfsides, even White Claws, the branding. Happy Dad, yeah. It's not too far off from Not Pizza as far as being a little, kind of provocative or makes you think a little bit. But like, a lot of these brands go with the sort of beach theme.
Yeah.
There's one now called Sun Cruiser, and we were like, I don't know, man. Like, I just don't want to I don't want to just get in line and do the same thing that everyone's doing. You know what I mean? Like if we were sitting here and I told you, oh yeah, we're doing like a drink and it's called like Point Break, you'd be like, oh, that's cool, man. And like you still might feel that way, but we were like, no, let's come way out of left field. Let's make something that like when someone tells someone else the name of the drink, there's always going to be a follow-up question. Like what? Like why is it called that? So we called it Not Pizza. And just, two things you need for every party: pizza and not pizza. It's just that it creates that mental noise, right? Where like when after someone hears it, an hour later they're gonna be like, "Is that really called Not Pizza? Like that's just so weird," Yeah. And then hopefully every time they see pizza, they're gonna think of Not Pizza because pizza is ubiquitous, Yeah. So yeah, we just kind of thought it was really sticky, really weird, and we thought we could have a ton of fun with the marketing for that reason, right? Like if we did Point Break, it's like, okay, let's go to the beach and do a lifestyle shoot. Like, no, I want to make some, we want to develop this character. His name's Guyver, the Not Pizza delivery driver. And he's like got a mustache and like a mullet. And he's like, has like on like a Not Pizza visor. And he like pulls up to people's houses and like delivers Not Pizza. And they're like, wait, I didn't order a pizza. And then he like turns around. He's like, it's not pizza. Just like these, just like fun, just having fun with a brand, what I mean? And we're hoping that, we build like this little audience, and they just want to have fun with us and support us. And Chris has been running for so many years this brand called Hello 422, which promotes small businesses up and down the 422 corridor. So like Phoenixville, Pottstown, Royersford, sort of like that side of town. And then me doing my creative stuff, like I just have such a big network in this area. So between the two of us, we already have like a ton of bars and restaurants who are like, hey, we're ready to like place orders with you guys. Like this sounds like fun. So we think like locally we're going to create a pretty good like buzz initially, and then we're just like interested to see if we can go beyond that, because it'd be pretty cool. I own 25%, so if it's like, it's like who knows?
Take it to the man.
It's just cool to be a part of something that could get big, you know what I mean? Because like what I'm doing now is great, but it's hard for me to like see.
It's like a little safer as opposed to like there's some risk.
Yeah, there's a lot of risk in starting a drink company called Not Pizza. A lot of people don't believe in it. But like that kind of fuels me. And like to be honest with you, from like the moment that I had to go back and convince John, like we pitched it to John, and John's in his 60s, and so is his buddy Randy. So we have there's 4 of us. John and Randy, they're older guys, but they have a lot of business experience. They've been running a successful brewery in Pottstown for 30 years. So to have them on our side is really key because they have so much perspective on like how many cans do we order, like what's our distribution model, what do our sales reps get paid, like that's all stuff Chris and I are like, I don't know, we have this funny video idea, so like we have like a really good balance. But yeah, I forget where I was going with that, but yeah, we pitched it to John on a Friday, and he was like, "All right, this is cool. I mean, it's weird, but I think I could get down. This might be kind of cool." He went home, probably talked to his wife and his friends, and everybody was like, "Dude, no." And he texted me Monday and was like, "Yeah, Luke," or called me. He was like, "Let's just think of a few more names. I'm not sure that's it." And I was like, so deflated. I was like, "No, you gotta see, you gotta believe, And then we came back to him, I think that Friday, because Chris and I kind of talked, and we were like, I don't know, nothing else excites me. Like I just like him and I can, I think, clearly see. And yeah, he texted the group and said, "Hey, I'm in on Not Pizza," and he said LFG with an exclamation point, which coming from like an older guy is kind of funny. So that's been like our group thread. Like anytime something cool happens or we hit a little milestone, everybody's like LFG with the pizza emoji. So it's just like a fun little like inside thing. Can I show you guys? And I won't show the camera. Can I show you the cans?
100%.
And just get your reaction on them.
Little.
We have the little renderings of them.
Now, I don't know if you said this earlier. When did this start?
About a year ago is when we started like
Okay.
coming up with the brand, because things take so much time. Like we went down to Louisville, Kentucky, and we met with this flavor company, and they develop like the product for you, right? And there's so much back and forth. Like, we like the Orange Crush C, but we want it to be we want the color of the Orange Crush B. We like that B was a little darker. So you kind of like tweak and like zero in on the product. Because that's the other thing. Like you want these to you want it to taste good, right?
Yeah.
And like I was very adamant. I was like, I don't want these to be like super sweet and like just like, I want them to be really subtle. And they are. Like they have like very little flavor to them. Like they do have flavor, but it's not like overpowering where you finish one and you're like, okay, I can't have any more of these. You could kind of enjoy a few. But yeah, the timeline of everything, you want it to happen so much faster than it can, because everything just takes a ton of time. But these are the
Those are some sexy cans.
right. I'm
Yeah.
so glad you used that word, because
cool.
we kind of said to ourselves, we were like, if we're gonna go like gimmicky and sort of like like on the nose, like with the name,
Yeah.
let's make the cans like a little more sophisticated.
Okay, yeah, I saw a period there, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, it reads like a sentence. It says, "We can assure you that what's in this can is not pizza, it's a vodka drink." And yeah, we were like, let's make the cans like just really simple and clean and sexy, so that like it sort of counterbalances like the silliness of the name.
Love it.
So I think we got a good thing going. Yeah.
It's cool. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm on board.
Yeah.
I'm 17, but yeah.
When you guys turn 21, you can try one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like it's a great place to wrap it up. Do you have? Yeah, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Please.
I think I've done that a bit just the past hour.
Yeah,
or so.
yeah, that's like
Do
why
you-
we're here.
Do you have any advice for us? I don't think I asked this question a lot.
We should ask this more, but yeah.
I know I should. That's what I was thinking. I was just like, this could be like a reoccurring question.
Yeah, for your half marathon, here's my advice, and this
Okay.
is just speaking from experience, because when I ran the marathon, as soon as I finished, I was so mad at myself for being so nervous and overthinking like the training and everything leading up to it. Like, I don't know if you're like sticking to like, do you have like a spreadsheet? Like, did you download a training thing?
I mean, so I'm tentatively like, no, not really. But so on the Nike Run Club app I use, I'm following like the whatever the longest run it says to do for that week, I do that distance, and then
Yeah.
everything else it's like because it varies. It's like a speed run, an interval. It's like, all right, I'm just gonna run like a mile, and then I'm gonna run 4 miles, and I'm gonna run like 6, and then I'm gonna run like 2. So I don't follow that, but I follow, okay, if it says the longest run I should do is 10, I'll do 10.
You'll get the 10, and then everything else is
just whatever
supplementary.
I kind of
Yeah, just be confident going into it. You're gonna run 13.1. You're gonna have so much fun, and don't think about like, oh, my ankle feels off this week. Just like run and have fun. That's more specific. In life, I think just be true to yourself. You know, you got that voice in here and in here, and it's like it knows the truth, and just follow the voice in your heart. You know.
100%.
And just always obey it, because sometimes it's the older you get, you hit more and more crossroads where the voice says one thing, but life is pulling you here, and you're like, just make sure you always do your best to follow your heart.
Love it.
That's a great place to end. Thank you.
Yeah.
Coming on. The voice,
It's a great place to end. Thank you. No, that's funny.
Take the advice in, and
That's
I
funny.
don't know the way to respond.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it.
Thanks for having me, guys. This was fun.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, it's nice to.
I think it's all past our bedtime, so I hope we didn't keep you long.
10:54.
Hey, it's gonna be a little bit of a rough wake up tomorrow, but I'm here for it.
Oh, it is I go to bed. I was saying to I was with my wife and all my sisters and cousins who all have kids now. We're all just like commiserating, and I was like, I've just come to terms with like the fact that I go to bed tired and I wake up tired. Like there's just no. I'm not gonna get a good night's rest for another maybe 5 or 6 years. I'm just not.
Yeah. All right, Motive Podcast. Signing off. Kyle Cohen, Leo Kosich, Luke O'Brien. Peace.
Peace.